present, which you get rejected. Work instead of having cocktail.
Lavish ones. You know, some of the solutions.
Considered to be the or, even though Ebru set up a neighborhood killed so easily. So that's very important.
So you've got a new product, you've done all the tests, figured out the pricing, and done the research to confirm there's a market for it. So now, how do you get it to the customers? We're here to share some insight on that is Melissa Cloeter, president of Own It Ventures. Thanks for coming on board, sharing some insight as always. This is always a very difficult thing. Everybody, you have a small business, you know your product, you know it's going to get out there. It's all about how do you get it into the marketplace? What do you have to know?
Well, you have to know, really have a solid foundation of who your customer is, who's going to buy that product, and that has to fit with whatever retail outlet that you decide to go after. If there's not a fit, then your chances of getting into that retailer that you dream of being in is not going to become a reality.
Sure. We might typically think of many stores as being similar enough that, oh, I can get them in Walmart or Target or, all of the similar stores, but every store chain has a personality to it.
Absolutely, and there are some nuances to getting into dealing with the different retailers as well. When I'm working with entrepreneurs, I usually encourage them to do a lot of research on that retailer and find out some are more conducive and have programs that are open for working with entrepreneurs and new product inventions, that type of thing. And if you don't get into one, just keep plugging away, keep plugging away. Even if you hear that no from that buyer, if you see it as a right fit, eventually all your hard work and efforts will pay off. Sometimes it's not getting into the headquarters right off the get-go. Sometimes you're better off just going to your local, like say, Whole Foods market and talking to that manager. Whole Foods is a great store that is very open and conducive to working with entrepreneurial products and starting off gaining distribution in 1, 2, or 3 stores.
Interesting. Are there particular points you have to pitch to a retailer?
Well, you have to have a really firm understanding of who the consumer is, and I call how deep is that market. So that retail space is how that retailer's making money. So you have to demonstrate how are you going to maximize the profitability of that area that your product is going to take, and why does it make sense for your product to be in, and what may be taking up that space right now
as opposed to somebody else's product.
Absolutely. So that's where really the importance of knowing the market, knowing who the consumer is, knowing how often they're going to buy that product, what price point, what's the profit margin. There's many nuances to getting into that retail store. And then once you get that distribution, you also have to have a plan on how you're going to sell that product through. And that's part of your pitch as well. How are you going to create demand and awareness for the consumer to go into that Whole Foods or Wegmans or whatever that store may be.
They want to know how you're going to market it.
Exactly.
And I would imagine the other part of that is they want to know, can you feel the demand should you create one?
Well, that is I've seen many times where entrepreneurs end up getting in over their head. They're not ready for it. So you have to be smart. It has to be part of your plan. If you're not ready to be producing 4,000 or 40,000 units, then don't make that commitment because you're gonna die out, and you have one shot of getting into that retailer, and if you don't hit the mark, then you're up the uphill battle.
Tough getting back in after you've been.
Oh, absolutely, and all these retailers know each other as well, and everybody loves a success story. So you're better off just pacing yourself, taking it slow, doing what you can do so that you're maximizing your productivity with your distribution and also sell-through.
Yesterday we talked with a young lady about social media, using that as part of your marketing effort. Is that part of a successful effort in reaching out to retailers?
Well, it is. It's interesting because retailers more and more are finding new innovative products through the e-commerce websites that are on the internet. And so it's very important to have an internet presence, have a website. If you don't have a website, be on an e-commerce type of location, like even an eBay, or, well, that's why my own company, I have an e-commerce. For the women that don't have a website availability, at least they have some type of web presence. Facebook.
And you've got a website.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Well, hold on, give me that website again.
Ownitventures.com. Right, absolutely. And so, you have to have e-commerce, some type of website where people can find you, where consumers can find you, and retail buyers can find you.
All right, a lot of stuff to do.
Yes, there is. There is.
Thanks, Melissa. Always good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.